Hi everyone, we have Upcrate 55 here, so let's open it up and see what's inside. If you're new here, my name is Sally and I'm a mixed media artist in Australia, and if you're not new here, welcome back. We have another art subscription box to unbox today. This is the Upcrate number 55 would be the March box. And this is an art subscription box from Germany. Every month you get a selection of random mystery art supplies, and you are to create a piece of artwork with the supplies that are sent to you in the box. And there is a prompt via the digital magazine, and it's a really fun way to try out some new things. I'm a mixed media artist, so I actually love getting different random supplies and trying things out and seeing how things work together and that sort of thing. It's a good way to come up with some new things when you're given a prompt, and it gets your brain sort of thinking in ways that it might not normally do. Yeah. So we're gonna unbox this. We're going to unbox this and test out all the supplies. I'll give you my thoughts about what's in here, and we're going to make some art using everything that's in here and the prompt word. So let's go. Yes. There is magic inside. Oh, it's a chunky package. What do we got? Okay, black acrylic marker. This is a big nib. Okay. We have a tube of acrylic paint in yellow light. Interesting, it's got black and yellow. And then we have Ecoline brush pens. It's a set of 5. Okay. So interesting supplies here, acrylics and water-based pens. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sheets, just loosely in the box. It's like a textured, looks like a watercolor paper. 7 sheets, that's our surface. And then we have a little sticker sheet. We've got a cute little skeleton here, which I like. Some little figurative stickers are cute. And here's some artwork. I like this kind of expressionistic portrait style. Julian Schleifer. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly. Freelance concept artist and illustrator, specializing in character design. I'm an Urban Sketches French administrator. I also teach visual storytelling and digital illustration in art school. Cool. And like I do with all the Upcrate unboxings, when I'm swatching out all the supplies, I will jump online using the QR code and access the full digital magazine, and I will talk you through all the supplies in a voiceover while I'm swatching. Sick. So let's do that. Thanks so much to my Ko-fi members. I adore you. Your names are here. Absolute legends. I have Ko-fi memberships set up on that platform. There's 3 tiers to choose from. My zine, Stung, with the bonus mini zine, And then I have another tier. It's the 2 zines and an art print. So you can get all of this sent out to you every month, and it's a different theme each month. This was the issue 3 that just went out, and I do ship it worldwide. So check out my Ko-fi memberships. It's linked down in the description box down below. And I will just tell you that issue 4, so if you sign up before the end of April, you'll get sent issue 4. Issue 4 is all about Garfield. I love that guy. He's been in my life for a very long time, and it's going to be a super fun issue. I'm putting it together right now, and it's been a lot of fun to make, and I want to send it to everybody, so sign up. All right, let's get back to the video. I didn't realize there was a Micron fine liner in the box as well. So we also have a Pigma Micron, and these are fantastic fine liners. I use these quite a lot. This is in the size 10. They're an archival permanent ink, very, very handy. And then we get to this chunky paint pen. Now, these come with a clean nib, so you have to depress them and give them a little shake and get the paint flowing. And it's quite satisfying. I like watching the paint come through. This is Lightfast, again, Lightfast acrylic paint. And I don't think I've had a paint marker that's quite this chunky, but it's a very, as you can see, it's a very wet, it's a runny paint. And I actually really like those brush mark textures, and that got my brain cooking about what I could do with this. And then I thought I'd try out the acrylic paint, and this is a 40 ml tube, so this is a huge tube, and I'm not sure, I feel like Upcrate sends a lot of yellow paint. I would have to double check this to confirm, but I feel like I always am getting yellow paint from Upcrate. Yeah, so I will have to check that. But that paint, yeah, it's a medium body, quite a bit of texture, but also a bit transparent just because that's the color, the yellow. And then we have the Ecoline brush pens. Now these, I love this color palette. We have 5 different colors here. This is the grey. It's a beautiful soft grey. Nice flexible nib on these, and again really juicy, like a very juicy marker. We've got pink beige, we have the yellow ochre here, just gorgeous, stunning color, and very flexible, so quite a lot of versatility with these. This mahogany color as well, just so stunning. And then we have the pastel red, which is like a peachy pink. Beautiful color palette. Love all of these. Now these are a dye-based formula, so you can dilute them with water. They weren't completely dry when I added the water to them, so you could use them in a couple of different ways. You could either wet the paper and do like a wet on wet technique, or you can add water to them after you've, yep, that just happened. That rolled through all of the wet paint. Amazing. If anyone's going to make a mess, it's me. So yeah, as I was saying, you can either pop them use them directly from the brush tip and then add water, or you could do the wet on wet technique, or you could scribble them into a palette, which I tried as well. So here I was just like layering up the supplies and seeing how they worked and what layered on top of each other. This is where I start to get ideas. And again, this paint marker is a very juicy, liquidy paint, so just be careful. I didn't think that I had sort of activated it too much, but it was just dripping off the nib. So be very, very careful. It is extremely black, very messy. Could potentially be very, very messy. So here I was just scribbling the brush pens into my palette just to add a little bit of water and see what kind of color I could get from the ochre and the mahogany. And yeah, so this is where I start to get all my ideas about what I'm gonna paint and make with the supplies. And again, a very liquidy acrylic paint marker. I don't think I've ever had one that's this runny before. And I'm not sure if that's user error, if I just sort of activated it too much, or if that was just like this kind of paint. I'm not sure. And once that was dry, I went in with the yellow acrylic just to see if I could cover over the black, and not really. It's quite transparent, even though it's like a thicker bodied paint. But yeah, pretty transparent pigments. But I was able to mix it a little bit with the brush pens. So I guess here we go into the artwork. We've got to let Echo sit in the box first. She loves the art subscription boxes just as much as I do. When I was having a read of the digital magazine, it did say that the surface was 5 sheets of the ArtSpace watercolor paper, 300 GSM. But as I counted out, I got 7 sheets, so bonus 2 sheets. And it's quite textured on one side and it's smooth on the other. So I haven't tried these supplies on the smooth side. I was going to, and I just ran out of time. I was going to make a second piece, but I just ran out of time. But on the textured side, beautiful. I like a bit of texture on my watercolor paper, so yeah. And ArtSpace is I'm pretty sure, is the Upcrate's own art supply brand. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's right. So let's talk about the inspiration for this artwork. When I was reading through the magazine online via the QR code, the prompt for this month's box was "Your magic," but not "you're like you are," "you're like YOUR." But I thought, I'm gonna make it "your" YOU''RE. And within that's quite a broad prompt. And when I was reading a little bit further down, it said, we'll give you 2 different ideas and you can give everything you've got artistically. So, no pressure. Just give everything. And then it said, still life or portrait, your decision. And if you've been watching my videos for a while or you know anything about me, I love to do portraiture. And when I was thinking about switching it to your magic, and a portrait, I started thinking about a painting that I did for Drawloween last year, and I'll pop it on the screen here so you can have a look. And the prompt for this day was just magic. And I got to thinking about how, anyone who creates or anything like writing, music, painting, photography, it's all magic. And when you think about magicians and magic tricks, that to me, real magic is the creation of something like some kind of artwork that didn't previously exist, and it's something that's you physically bring to life from your thoughts, from your ideas, into something that you can read or look at or listen to or hold. And that to me is magic. So I really feel like all kinds of artists are really like the true magicians, and magic isn't about tricks, it's about the creation. And yeah, so we're all magic. You know, anyone who is an artist, anyone who creates, that's real magic to me. So this, like that other piece that I did, is a self-portrait. And in that first piece I did, I sort of had the thought, I drew these kind of like gold lines around with little stars, and it kind of resembled barbed wire. And to me, specifically, creation doesn't come easy all of the time, and often it comes from struggle or from trying to navigate dark emotions or things like that, or responding to the world and the way you feel about things. And it's not always like sunshine and butterflies and that sort of thing. So it can be quite painful because you're trying to sort of navigate those emotions and figure out your response to things. And that can be painful. So this piece is kind of similar to that. It relates to that one in a way, in that when I saw that paint marker and how it made those big black chunky lines, and I loved the way that I could get that texture, like that brushstroke texture on this rough paper, I sort of started thinking about another technique that I'd been working on with painting, where I would put a glove on and run my fingers through paint and sort of like smear that on the page around the portrait. So this piece I'm working on now sort of it mixes those two previous ideas that I'd had, and I'll link some videos in the description box, which takes you through all the drawing pieces that I did, so you can see that one a little bit further and hear more about that. And then another video where I'm explaining more about that new painting style and that sort of glove technique that I was trying to sort of develop a little bit. So yeah, basically what I did with this is I went in with the brush markers and then the fine liner to add details, and I kind of really like this. I like the way it turned out. I love this color palette. That mahogany is so nice. And the grey was just like that perfect for adding in shadows and creating a bit more depth. And you can see how I added a bit of water to the page to get some blooms happening with the dye, just to create a bit more texture. And there wasn't a brush in this box, but I did add, because we had a tube of acrylic paint, I just added one of my own paint brushes, but I do try and stick to just the supplies that are in the box. And when you add pressure to this pen, look at the depth of color that comes out. It is so stunning. I wish I had this hair color. I've been thinking about going back to red. I don't know. It's so high maintenance. I love it though, but more of like a ginger red. So yeah, I just grabbed that acrylic paint marker and started adding this texture around it. And like what I was saying before, this to me sort of represents the kind of chaos that you have to navigate through sometimes to create the magic. Sometimes it is dark and heavy. And then what I added, so in the first painting from last year, I added little gold stars. The only thing in this box that didn't really make sense to me with these supplies was the tube of acrylic paint in this bright yellow. Everything else sort of made sense to work together, but I could not figure out what to do with this. But when I started thinking about that old painting and how I was going to work through that same kind of idea, I thought, well, it's kind of like a medium bodied paint, which I can get a bit of texture from if I layer it up. So maybe I'll add little stars with the yellow acrylic paint and apply it quite thickly, and then added some little dots, and maybe that'll work. And I think it did. So yeah, what do you think? What would you create with the prompt Your Magic? It's such a broad topic that's open to so many different interpretations. But I kind of liked how this made me think of some previous artworks, and this is quite different in style, but it still sort of fits with the same kind of ideas. And yeah, art is magic. Don't forget that. Go make some art. There's nothing more magical than having a blank piece of paper and then creating something, you know? So here you can sort of see the texture of the paint. I hope you liked this video. If you did like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. I do lots of art subscription box unboxings and sketchbook pages, things like that. Check out my Ko-fi memberships down below and consider becoming a member so I can send you zines and art every month. And I really, really, really appreciate you watching and all your support. It means the world to me. And thank you again for watching. And I'll see you next time.